Greetings, GameCola faithful, and welcome to a new solo Let's Play. It's been a little bit since I've done any sort of recording here, and I'm in a bit of a creative slump, so let's try and fix that by playing one of my favorite games of all time. It's made by Nintendo. It's Metroid 3, or as most people know it, Super Metroid. Yes, indeed. I love this game so much, and I will get into that as we get further into this playthrough. But for now, we're going to start on save file C. I did a little bit of testing to make sure my new recording setup is working. I migrated my entire PC to be running off of Linux in the intervening months between Dragon Warrior 2 and this Let's Play. So there may be some interesting changes and challenges involved in recording on a new operating system. I had to get a new capture card for one thing, because my existing one was not compatible with Linux, only Windows. But it feels good in a way. There's a lot of teething troubles. Linux is not a perfect operating system either, but that's neither here nor there. For the time being, I'm going to remap my controls to my preference here. Shot on Y, jump on B, dash on A. I leave item select on select rather than switching it to X, which I know that some people do. And I switch the angle up and angle down buttons. In special settings, I will not be enabling Moonwalk here, although in a future playthrough of a particular ROM hack that I really like, I will definitely be enabling Moonwalk. But in this game, I find the controls to be a little bit clunkier if you have Moonwalk enabled, and we definitely want to leave icon cancel in manual. If you set this to auto, then anytime you take a screen transition from room to room, it will disable your weapons and switch you back to your normal blaster, which is not something that I want. So without any further ado, let's begin.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
I first battled the Metroids on planet Zebes. It was there that I foiled the plans of the space pirate leader, Mother Brain, to use the creatures to attack galactic civilization. So a little bit of a recap of the first two games, in case you didn't want to play those. I next fought the Metroids on their homeworld, SR-388. I completely eradicated them, except for a larva, which after hatching, followed me like a confused child. I personally delivered it to the Galactic Research Station at Ceres, so scientists could study its energy-producing qualities. Thanks, Doc Brown. The scientists' findings were astounding. They discovered that the powers of the Metroid might be harnessed for the good of civilization. I kind of wonder if the images of the people there were actually some of the staff that worked on the game, maybe. Probably not, though. Satisfied that all was well, I left the station to seek a new bounty to hunt, but I had hardly gone beyond the asteroid belt when I picked up a distress signal. Ceres Station was under attack. Ooh, and you see Samus's eye narrowing there. Ooh, love it. Such good detail in the graphics. Here we are at the space colony, Ceres Research Station. And we have control. Unlike the GBA games, which I've only played a little bit of, I'm in the middle of playing through Fusion I'm at about the third area, but the GBA Metroid games, Samus is much heavier. In this game, her jump is very floaty, and honestly, I kind of prefer that. It does make the controls feel a little bit less snappy, but overall, they are still pretty responsive, and maybe it's just because I'm so used to them, but I do really, really like this game's controls. I think it controls very well. So everything seems to be in sort of a strange low-power mode. Very odd. Strange droning sounds in the background, and yeah, that's, things have not gone well here. Something very bad has happened. Obviously, the Metroid is no longer in captivity. The doors here are automatic, which is kind of neat. I could feign ignorance here, but we all know what's about to happen. I've never managed to actually beat Ridley in this fight. You can get him to drop the baby Metroid if you land 100 shots on him, but that is much easier said than done. I'll do my best. Oh, I got it! Haha! Woohoo! I did it! That's the first time I've ever done that. Uh-oh. Emergency. Self-destruct sequence activated. Evacuate colony immediately. Let's go! Run, 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 run! We've got these jets of steam. They do not actually damage you, which is appreciated. It would be kind of cruel if they did. Oh, the ceiling's coming down. Why do self-destruct sequences always have to start destroying the facility before the countdown ends? That's what I want to know. Whoa! All right, we're out of there. That's something I've always found odd, is that so many self-destruct sequences in movies and video games always starts bringing the place down immediately. So what's the point of a countdown? You're probably already causing massive debris and difficulties for the people who are supposed to be trying to evacuate. You would think that you would want to make things as easy as possible for anyone to get off of the facility before it self-destructs. Like, I think Star Trek might be one of the few examples where it makes sense, where the self-destruct countdown is just a countdown and it typically starts a red alert on the ship. But besides that, everything just continues functioning because you're not supposed to bring the house down before the timer ends. It's kind of counterproductive. So we've arrived on planet Zebes once more, and I need to point out, I love this rain and the thunder. Oh, I love it so much. It's one thing that the Project Base hack changes a little bit, which I think maybe actually reverted eventually. But yeah, we've got these stormy clouds, parallax scrolling in the background, thunderclaps, and you can actually hear them in the soundtrack. It's really, really cool. But we can head inside, and now we have to shoot these doors to open them. Got all these little bugs crawling away from us, disturbed by our presence. This cool, this game does a lot of, well, not a lot, but every now and then this game does sort of a color tone mapping to change the color of all of the lighting in a room. In this case, everything's a little bit greenish. And I think that that's pretty neat. We've got a few doors that we can go in, or just one at least. But we can't get through here because we don't have any way to fit through that passage. Although we will soon. This here is the ruined remains of the escape tower from Metroid 1. Although the landscape of Zebes has changed quite dramatically since Metroid 1. So I do find it a little bit odd that we can find some remains of Torian, but not most of them. Like, how long has it been? Like, there was a self-destruct at the end of that game, but it just blew up the base. So I guess it would make sense that there's not a whole lot of it left around, but there would still be, I don't know, the rest of the landscape. It's a bit odd that it's changed around. And this here, this makes no sense at all. So we were just in the final area of the game where the final boss fight takes place, and now we're back at the start of Metroid 1. Why is this elevator here? It clearly wasn't there in the first game, so what's going on here? But we get the morph ball exactly where it was in the original game, or pretty close to that. I think this is not a one-to-one mapping. Uh-oh. Who's there? Oh, and now these little guys have rotated. All right, let's get out of his sight. Well, some kind of automated system has scanned us. And now we can fit through those little tight passages. Very nice. And we get missiles. Right away, unlike the first game, I believe, where it does take you a little bit. You have to do some exploring to get them. But here, nope, it's pretty much straight away. Which I like, gives you lots of time to get used to the extra firepower. These red doors, of course, just like the first game. Now, I say I'm referencing the first game even though I have not played it. Metroid 1 and 2 are not really my cup of tea, and we get another missile expansion here. It gives us 5 extra missiles. But I do think that they are neat games, and that by all means they're worth playing if you are curious. It's just not really my bag. Let's go ahead and head back up and look at those little tiles there, those little monster faces turning to look at us as we go back up. Uh-oh. Space pirates. They're still here. Not that that was much of a surprise. That's why we came here, after all. But it is a nice little, oh, surprise! They're here waiting for you. Now, that door there was flashing between sort of grayish brown and blue. That means that it was locked, but is now unlocked. Something to note about those doors is that some parts of this playthrough, by the way, I may not be talking as much. I'm definitely going to be talking a bit more in the beginning here, just to explain some of the things that I'm doing. But honestly, I think that part of what's so cool about this game is just appreciating the ambiance and the gameplay. The music is wonderful, as you've probably already heard if you can hear it over my talking. Very atmospheric, as they tend to be, but yeah, just Oh, really, really fun. And now, this area is full of these little bug enemies. I forget the names of them. I'm not great with the Metroid enemy names. There we go. So the enemies, when you defeat them, drop various pickups to refill your weapons and energy. Certain enemies, I believe, are predisposed to only drop certain kinds of power-ups, while others can drop pretty much anything. And this here is a map station, which uncovers, in blue, a large portion of the map. Although, as you can see, there's some sections which don't appear to be connected anywhere. So these map stations reveal most of the map, but not all of it. So that is important to keep in mind. You definitely want to explore any suspicious-looking nooks and crannies. But it definitely gives us a good starting point to explore around. And we now know that this area, well, we would have known it if I had checked the map earlier when we first arrived, but this area is called Crateria. Something else that immediately makes this game better than Metroid 1 is that if you are low on either health or weapons, enemies that aren't locked to dropping a specific type of recovery pickup will actually be more likely to drop the thing that you need most, which is so helpful because Metroid 1, it was completely random based on, I think, whether it was an even or odd frame when you defeated the enemy, which made it really tricky sometimes to get the power-ups that you were looking for. Now this room, we've got these enemies here, and if we just run, using the run button, we can actually get underneath them without taking any damage, although obviously I'm a bit of a klutz, so I did anyway, but I digress. Alright, and we get bombs. Very good. Another great exploration tool. Oh! Uh-oh. Dun dun dun. Missiles at the ready. I really could have used some missiles there. Yes, if you shoot the things that he spits out, he will drop some missiles. We've shot off his head. He runs around like a chicken with its head cut off, I suppose. And there we go. Not too bad, but definitely a fun little gotcha. There's definitely a few sort of light horror elements to this game, which I appreciate. I'm not much of a horror game or horror movie or horror anything person. I think my life is stressful enough without scaring myself for fun. But it is definitely a neat little thing there. Now we can go ahead and head back out here to the ship. Just to point out that we can use it as both a recovery station. It will fully refill all of your health and ammunition, and as a save point. Save complete. And I think that that is an excellent place to end things for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you will join me for the next episode where we continue to explore Crateria and see what lies deeper down on the planet Zebes. See you guys next time.